International basketball players often capture the imagination of fans worldwide with their incredible skills and passion for the game. However, behind the scenes lies a tough reality that people don't see. These players carry heavy pressure to perform as foreigners and often lack the support systems many take for granted. So, what exactly makes the life of an international basketball player so difficult? Let's get into it. The endless travel nightmare. International players deal with a unique and exhausting challenge: constant travel across different time zones. While NBA players usually travel within North America, international athletes often have to fly across continents in just a matter of days. This non-stop travel causes serious jet lag, which throws off their internal body clocks. Their circadian rhythm, the system that controls sleep and energy levels, gets completely out of sync. As a result, it becomes hard for them to fall asleep at night or stay awake during the day, especially when flying between places like Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Jet lag affects more than just how tired they feel. It messes with the body's melatonin levels, a hormone that helps control sleep. Many players end up wide awake at strange hours, like 3 a.m., even if they have a big game the next day. Without enough deep sleep, the body doesn't produce enough growth hormone, which is necessary for muscle repair and recovery. This means their muscles stay sore and they remain tired, unable to fully bounce back between games and practices. Even some of the best players, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, have spoken out about how jet lag affects their performance. Jaylen Brown, an NBA champion with the Boston Celtics, also knows the struggle. He travels frequently across time zones during the off-season and puts great effort into managing his sleep and recovery. How he tackles this situation, he said, "I do deep meditation, breathing, and swimming to help adjust my sleep schedule. I also use technology to monitor and enable my naps and sleep before and after workouts and games, so my body recovers optimally." He also admits that without proper rest, his training and performance take a big hit. With little time to rest or train properly between tournaments, international players are constantly battling both physical and mental fatigue. Over time, this ongoing struggle seriously affects how well they can play. Language barriers and cultural clashes. Communication forms the backbone of successful basketball teams, making language barriers one of the most significant obstacles international players face. On the court, clear communication is key to teamwork and making quick decisions. When players and coaches don't speak the same language, it often leads to confusion, mistakes during plays, and frustration among teammates. Even common basketball terms can vary from one country to another. A basic move like the pick and roll might be called something completely different in another language, leading to delays and miscommunication during important moments. As a result, international players often spend months not only learning a new language, but also picking up team-specific slang and phrases. This adjustment period can slow down their progress, shake their confidence, and affect how well they perform. Luka Doncic has shared his experiences about how challenging it was to adapt to new languages and cultures. His experience shows just how common and serious these challenges can be. Yuki Kawamura, a rising talent from Japan, is also facing difficulties in communicating in English. He's currently learning the language and working hard to improve, so he can better connect with teammates and understand coaching instructions. Like many others, he's navigating both the pressure of professional basketball and the added challenge of adapting to a new culture. Off the court, language barriers make everyday life more complicated. Simple tasks like ordering food, finding a place to live, or dealing with local rules can become big challenges. Players often have to rely on teammates or support staff to help them through basic situations, which can make them feel isolated or even powerless. This kind of stress takes their attention away from important things like training and recovery. Cultural differences add yet another layer of difficulty. Things like training methods, discipline, and how people communicate can be very different from what a player is used to. In some cultures, athletes are expected to follow instructions without question, while in others, open discussion with coaches is encouraged. If players misunderstand these expectations, it can lead to tension with the team. Off the court, adjusting to unfamiliar foods, customs, and social behaviors can make them feel uncomfortable or out of place, which often leads to homesickness, loneliness. The emotional isolation experienced by international basketball players is profound and often underestimated. Unlike athletes who play in their home countries, these players are usually away from their families and closest friends for long stretches, sometimes months or even years. They miss birthdays, holidays, and other important moments, and over time, this emotional weight becomes a part of daily life. Time zone differences also make it hard to stay in touch, and calls usually happen at odd hours squeezed between training and games. Joel Embiid, who comes from Cameroon, has faced challenges of how hard it is to be away from family while playing in the US. His story reflects what many others go through. When players finally return home in the off-season, they sometimes feel like strangers. Children have grown, partners have handled everything alone, and old friendships may have faded. These personal sacrifices don't just affect the player, they deeply impact their loved ones too. Not having a strong support system nearby makes difficult times even harder. Dealing with injuries, career setbacks, or personal problems can feel overwhelming when you're in a foreign country, often surrounded by a different language and unfamiliar customs. Building new friendships is not easy either. Language and cultural barriers often get in the way, adding to the feeling of isolation. Video calls and social media can help, but they cannot replace the comfort of being close to the people you love. Watching family events from afar makes players feel more isolated. Many describe feeling stuck between two worlds, no longer fully part of their home culture, yet not completely fitting into the one they currently inhabit. This emotional disconnection can lead to homesickness, sadness, and stress, all of which affect how they perform on the court. Without proper mental health support, the loneliness faced by international players can evolve into a quiet but serious challenge that persists throughout their careers. Financial instability. While NBA players enjoy relatively stable contracts with clear salary structures and strong union protection, international players navigate a complex web of financial uncertainty. Overseas players struggle with unreliable contracts, delayed paychecks, and fewer legal protections. Leagues in places like Europe, Asia, and South America operate under different rules, and clubs have money problems or change ownership often. This impacts players' salaries directly. Delays in payment or non-payment are common. While some players may wait months for their wages, others may lose their income entirely when teams fold. In contrast to the NBA, where legal systems and financial protections secure contracts, international players frequently lack the means to reclaim their lost earnings. Most overseas contracts are short-term. Many last just one season or even less. These deals can be canceled with little warning, which makes it nearly impossible for players to plan financially for the future. Brandon Jennings, a former NBA player who spent time in Europe, is one of the athletes who faced delayed payments and contract problems while playing abroad. Currency fluctuations also add risk. If a player signs a deal in a local currency and that currency drops in value, their earnings can shrink overnight. Tax systems in different countries add more pressure, with some governments placing heavy taxes on foreign athletes and reducing their take-home pay. In addition to these challenges, players overseas often have to handle their own health insurance, disability coverage, and retirement savings benefits that are usually provided by major leagues like the NBA. Recent changes by FIBA, which now require players to pay their agents directly, have increased the financial workload for players. Instead of focusing only on basketball, they also have to manage contracts, taxes, and legal details on their own. Without strong legal and financial support, international players live with constant stress about money, job security, and their long-term future. All of this happens while they're trying to stay focused and perform at a high level on the court. Different playing styles. International players must constantly adapt to dramatically different playing styles and coaching philosophies as they move between countries and leagues. Every region has its own way of playing the game. European basketball is known for its structured, team-oriented strategies. In contrast, Asian leagues focus more on speed and agility, while South American teams often emphasize physical toughness and conditioning. These differences mean players must quickly change not only how they play, but also how they think about the game. Refereeing standards also vary around the world. A defensive move that's perfectly legal in one country might be called a foul in another. This forces players to constantly adjust their instincts and retrain their muscle memory. Even a player's role on the court can change. Someone used to play as a traditional center might suddenly be expected to shoot three-pointers or handle the ball more often in a different league. Adapting to new roles requires players to keep developing their skills. Jimmy Butler's story inspires international players who are facing these kinds of doubts and transitions. He once said, "My whole life, people have doubted me, my mom did. People told me in high school I was too short and not fast enough to play basketball. They didn't know my story, because if they did, they'd know that anything is possible." His journey reminds players that hard work and belief can overcome criticism and change. Coaching styles introduce additional challenges. Some coaches implement rigid systems with strict regulations and minimal opportunity for personal expression, while others allow players greater freedom to showcase their skills on the court. When a player's style does not align with the coach's methodology, it can negatively impact their performance and limit their playing time. Additionally, communication issues stemming from language barriers or cultural differences can complicate the understanding of strategies, roles, and feedback. Training methods change from place to place too. In some leagues, there's a strong focus on detailed tactical drills and video analysis. In others, more time is spent on building physical strength or working on individual skills. Constantly switching between these training styles can interrupt a player's rhythm and development. Manu Ginobili's path is a perfect example. Moving from Argentina and Europe to the NBA, he had to shift from a tactical, team-first style to a faster, more individual game. His success shows the value of flexibility, but also highlights how demanding these changes can be for international players throughout their careers. Struggles with team integration. International players face unique challenges in establishing their role within team dynamics, often becoming caught between proving their worth and fitting into established hierarchies. As they move from one country or club to another, they must constantly adjust to new teammates, playing systems, and social environments. This constant change makes it hard to build long-lasting relationships or feel truly connected to a team. Being labeled an import or foreign player adds even more pressure. These players are often expected to be star performers and carry extra responsibility, even when they don't get the same level of support or understanding as local players. Teammates may see them as competition for playing time or question whether they'll stay long-term. This can lead to tension, making it harder to bond. It can also result in fewer passes, limited involvement in team discussions, and a general feeling of being left out. The ongoing pressure to validate their worth can induce stress and negatively impact performance. For numerous international athletes, their employment status and visa validation hinge on their on-court achievements. This additional burden may result in anxiety. Even seasoned professionals, such as Serge Ibaka, have shared their struggles with being perceived more as a business resource than a genuine teammate. His experience underscores how emotionally and mentally exhausting the situation can be. All these struggles make it difficult for international players to feel stable or truly valued. It takes more than just talent and effort to succeed in these situations. Players also need strong support from coaches, teammates, and team leaders who understand the emotional toll of playing far from home. With the right support system, players can overcome these challenges and build meaningful connections within their teams. Limited media exposure. Overseas players hold relatively low importance compared to their NBA counterparts, receiving minimal media coverage and fan recognition despite often possessing comparable skill levels. Even the top players in Europe or Asia frequently go unnoticed by global fans and media. Their best performances and highlights don't receive the coverage they deserve. keeping them out of the international spotlight. So, limited visibility directly affects their earning potential. In contrast to NBA players, who frequently secure endorsement deals regardless of their stardom, international athletes face challenges in attracting significant sponsorships. Take Nikola Mirotic, for instance. Despite being a leading talent in Europe, he has not achieved the same recognition or commercial success as numerous NBA players. This disparity hampers international stars in developing a robust personal brand throughout their careers and beyond retirement. Timing adds another challenge. International games take place when American fans are either asleep or busy at work. As a result, exciting moments and achievements are often overshadowed by NBA news. Even social media doesn't fully solve the problem. Some NBA bench players have more followers and online attention than international MVPs. Without regular media coverage, it's much harder for international players to grow a global fan base or get the recognition they've earned. Pressure to perform as a foreign player. International players face disproportionate performance pressure, with their every mistake scrutinized through the lens of their foreign status. As foreign imports, they are expected to deliver standout performances right away, often with little time to adjust to new systems or cultures. Fans and teams see them as investments and want quick results, leaving very little room for mistakes. Many leagues limit how foreign players a team can have. This means players are not just competing for playing time, but also fighting for one of the few valuable roster spots reserved for non-domestic talent. One bad game can cost a player their place, especially if the team is struggling or needs to make a fast change. Expectations vary by league. In some, foreign players must lead the offense and be the team's stars. Others are hired for specific skills like defense or shooting. If they don't meet those exact expectations, criticism can come fast and harsh. Local media and fans may blame them for team problems, accusing them of hurting team chemistry or not measuring up to regional players. Kai Sotto, the Filipino basketball prodigy, has experienced this pressure firsthand while playing in leagues like Australia's NBL and Japan's B-League, where being an import comes with intense expectations to perform immediately. Beyond the court, the pressure remains intense. Players such as Andrei Kirilenko, who has experience in both the NBA and Russian leagues, face immense expectations placed on them due to their foreign status. These international athletes are scrutinized not only for their abilities, but also for their compatibility with the team's culture and social dynamics. As a result, they might experience feelings of isolation or even encounter hostility from local teammates. Legal complications. International basketball players navigate complex immigration systems that can significantly impact their careers and personal lives. Getting a visa usually means dealing with long application processes, background checks, and lots of paperwork, sometimes all in a language they don't speak well. Even after signing with a team, delays or visa denials can stop players from arriving on time or playing in important games. Work permit rules differ a lot between countries and can change suddenly because of political or economic reasons. A player who is allowed one season might be denied entry the next. Besides getting their visas, players must handle ongoing legal tasks, like renewing visas, updating addresses, and checking in regularly with immigration officials. Missing any of these steps can lead to deportation or a ban on returning. Involving family members adds further complexity. Having a spouse or children requires additional applications and enforces stricter regulations. Players grapple with the tough decision of either pursuing their careers or remaining near their families. Legal protections in international basketball tend to be fragile. Several overseas leagues lack robust mechanisms for enforcing contracts. If a player goes unpaid or experiences unfair treatment, their legal recourse may be restricted, particularly if they cannot secure adequate legal assistance. These legal problems take a toll on players' mental focus and performance. For example, Enes Kanter faced serious travel restrictions due to his political situation, which affected his career and ability to play. Most players don't have his resources and struggle alone. trying to balance legal issues while staying at peak athletic form. The lack of clear protections and support makes visa and legal challenges one of the toughest off-court struggles for international players. The emotional toll. The combination of professional pressure, cultural isolation, and physical demands creates a perfect storm for mental health challenges among international basketball players. Being far from home, family, and familiar cultures, they often face overwhelming stress from adjusting to new environments, handling performance pressure, and dealing with uncertainty about contracts and team situations. Over time, this stress can lead to serious mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and burnout. One big challenge is the stigma around mental health, which differs across cultures. In some basketball communities, talking openly about emotional struggles is seen as a weakness. This stops players from asking for help, even when they are clearly struggling. Fear of judgment from teammates, coaches, or management can make things worse, especially in close basketball circles where privacy is limited. Anxiety among international players comes from many sources. There's the pressure to perform well to keep one of the few foreign player spots, the social stress of fitting into new cultures, and worries about short-term contracts and money. Sleep problems from constant travel and time zone changes add to this strain, causing exhaustion, mood swings, and weaker performance on the court. Michael Jordan once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His words remind players that failure is a natural part of growth and success, even under intense pressure. Finding good mental health care is another challenge. Language barriers make it hard to connect with therapists, and cultural differences can make treatment less effective. In smaller basketball markets, players may worry that sharing personal problems could reach team officials and hurt their careers. Jeremy Lin has faced how lonely it can feel to play overseas, showing the hidden mental struggles that international players face. To help, basketball communities need better mental health support, more education, and a culture change that values emotional well-being as much as athletic success. Without this, too many players will continue to suffer quietly. Playing basketball internationally comes with challenges that extend far beyond the court, including frequent traveling, navigating language barriers, feeling isolated, grappling with financial concerns, and dealing with emotional stress, which can weigh heavily on these athletes. Yet, they give up so much, all in pursuit of their dreams on courts that are miles away from home. So, the real question is, how can the basketball world better support these players who give so much, but often get so little in return?